you golf enthusiasts, I'll tell you about hole 18 that went into sudden death playoff.
Owning one of these may save you money this fall.
One local boy's life ends too soon, but not before he was able to make an impact on many others. News Source 15 starts right now.
From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is the Athens area's only source for local TV news. This is News Source 15.
A local baseball coach and his family are grieving tonight after funeral services for their son. Good evening, I'm Rachel Koo.
And I'm Leanna Yoon. More than 100 people gathered at Beach Haven Baptist Church this morning to celebrate the life of this special little boy. News Source 15's Chris Wilson was at the service and joins us now to tell us more about Zach.
It was a beautiful service, Liana. Very sad and very difficult. Little Zach Kirk was only 5.5 months old, but his dad says he was still able to make an impact on many.
He touched more lives than I could ever imagine. In his short span, his 5.5 months, he was too perfect for this world, and he was stronger than I'll ever be, and his work was done. I've still got some left to do, and I'll see him again one day.
Zach was born 4 months premature to Kyle and Jessica Kirk. Things seemed to be looking up for the Kirks. Zach was sent home for the first time in his short life this past Saturday, but something went terribly wrong less than 24 hours after returning home. Zach developed pneumonia that went undetected in x-rays, and this caused him to stop breathing. Mom and Dad performed CPR, but it was too late. Kyle is the baseball coach at Clark Central High School, and his players are helping him and his family through this extremely difficult time.
I am the only senior this year, and I've known Coach Kirk longer than any of these guys, and I talk to him on the phone almost every night, so I just try to support him any way I can and let him know I'm here for him.
They're like everybody else. They don't have the words to say, but just them being there and just giving a hug and telling me that they love me means more than anything I could put into words.
Actions always speak louder than words. The entire Clark Central team attended the service today to give hugs, be pallbearers, and just to show their support to the coach and his family that they have all come to love. The rest of their season is dedicated to the memory of Zach, and their caps will don his initials, ZK. The team sold green Zach Nation bracelets to help raise money for Zach's care and other premature babies. If you want to make any donations, you can go to www.marchforbabies.org and click on Zach's team, Zach Nation. Live in the studio, I'm Chris Wilson, News Source 15.
Zach will be laid to rest tomorrow at Oak Ridge Cemetery in Tifton, Georgia. The service begins at 11 a.m. Once again, the family asks that donations and flowers be sent in honor of Zach at www.marchforbabies.org and click on his team, Zach Nation.
Some students at UGA say they're having a hard time coping with the loss of a friend in a car crash. The freshman died coming back from UGA night at Six Flags on Friday. News Source 15 reporter Meredith Graffanti talked to some of her friends today, including the driver of the vehicle who fell asleep behind the wheel. Meredith, he must be in complete shock.
Everyone is in shock. Words can hardly describe how her friends felt for her. This is 19-year-old Tiara Bardley with her friend Matthew Bickley right behind her. He describes her as a wonderful girl with a huge smile and an even bigger heart.
Everybody loved her. She was just an incredible person, and I loved her too.
Bickley was the friend who was driving the car when he fell asleep and then flipped his SUV several times. Tiara was ejected from the vehicle. He's planning on going to counseling and says he's trying not to blame himself.
Everybody keeps telling me that I don't need to, but sometimes it's hard not to. But I know it's not really my fault, but yeah, I'm trying to get through that.
Tiara was studying to be a nurse, and she lived here in Russell Hall. But her friends say her real home was in Morris Hall, where she always hung out.
She lived with us. Like, on our boards, our RA used to put Tiara's name on the board with us because she basically lived with us.
Casey says the reality still hasn't sunk in.
People, they still don't really want to talk about it, but I think more and more people are trying to, like, say her name without having to feel like she's not here.
All of Tiara's friends are still writing on her Facebook wall, talking about how unexpected this was. She even wrote about herself.
I love God, people, college, go Dogs, and at the moment, life.
And friends say she was so full of life.
No matter what, she was just like a ray of sunshine, pretty much.
Now, officials say no alcohol was involved in the accident, but charges are pending against the driver, Matthew Bickley. Now, no details have been released about these charges because the case is still under investigation. I'm live from the UGA campus, Meredith Grifanti, News Source 15.
Thanks, Meredith. Tiara service will be this Saturday in Gwinnett at the Gregory Levette and Sons Funeral Home. The time has not yet been announced because her family is still making arrangements. An Athens police officer who nearly died after being stabbed is back home. Sergeant Courtney Gale returned home last week. Her blog says she is adjusting to being back in Bishop and that she even stopped by the police station to see her coworkers. You can find out the latest updates on Sergeant Gale by logging on to getwellcourtney.com. Sergeant Gale will continue her rehabilitation closer to Athens.
The Oconee County Sheriff's Department is still looking for a man who goes by the name Buffalo. Buffalo is a suspect in a theft case at an Oconee County bank. $17,000 went missing from the First American Bank earlier this month. There is a deportation warrant out for Francisco Santos, the man who allegedly helped Buffalo take the money. Police charged 2 middle schoolers for taking part in a drug sale in Coyle Middle School's restrooms Friday. Authorities say one 12-year-old had marijuana in his shoe. They said a 13-year-old friend of the boy brought it to school because he didn't want to leave it at home. The teenager sold the drug for $3.
The suspect who allegedly called in bomb threats to a UGA fraternity party is out on bond. Jocelyn Johnston turned herself into the Clark County Jail on Wednesday. Authorities released her on a $2,500 bond. The Athens Sheriff's Office says Johnson faces charges of calling in a false public alarm. Tomorrow, the university will host a groundbreaking ceremony for the health center's expansion. The first phase of the $17 million construction project will include a new area for parking. The final addition will be more than 30,000 square feet. The ceremony starts at 1 p.m. There will be a reception on the health center patio afterwards.
Athens is down 200 in jobs, but the State Department of Labor says Georgia gained 10,200 payroll jobs overall in March, which is a 0.2% increase. Georgia's unemployment rate of 5.3% has not changed from February to March.
Coming up, we'll tell you why the university has decided to raise parking fees.
And is marrying young a good idea? We'll have that story after the break.